changes everything.
Hey everybody, Phil the Kaiju King back here from my collection room in Greater Cincinnati, and in this video I will do a retrospective on the great love story from Peter Jackson in 2005, King Kong. It's a true remake and tribute to the original, in my opinion. I love the movies. I know some people may not, but I liked it overall very much. I've recently watched it. Still enjoyed it. I think the special effects in the film stand up even today. It's very, very impressive, the special effects, in my opinion, for that time frame that it came out. It's very, very nicely done. Like I said, it is a true love story from Peter Jackson. If anybody don't know, Peter Jackson, is his favorite movie of all time was King Kong 33. And he had planned on doing it all along, and he was going to do it. And he had it set up to start filming it and getting ready to do it. And then the Lord of the Rings thing came along and presented itself, and he couldn't resist that. He put Kong on the back burner with all intentions of doing Kong, and he basically pulled off 3 miraculous great films back to back to back to back. He did all the Lord of the Rings first trilogy, Fellowship of the Ring, The Two Towers, and The Return of the King, and then he turned right around after those and did King Kong. And for me, those 4 films are excellent. Peter Jackson was in his wheelhouse right there, for sure, in my opinion. This movie's great. A lot of the same characters are named in this film. The primary characters in particular. The captain of the boat, Englehorn. Jack Black plays Carl Denham. Naomi Watts plays Anne Darrow. And the actor that played Driscoll escapes me. I knew I would forget one of them, but they were all did good, I thought. I mean, I think Jack Black, they probably could have picked a little better for Denham, but he was still a sleazy, slimy, at the end of the day, it was just trying to get ahead, and I think they captured that well in the film. So many callbacks to the original film, so many tributes. Like when he's trying to hurry up and leave and get on the boat and get out of there before they stop him, his assistant says that one of the actresses is doing a film for RKO, and Jack Black goes, "Cooper, I should have known," and he's there in the taxi, and then it plays the classic old King Kong music. Just so many harken back things in the film that are great tributes to the original. And in my opinion, this was a true tribute to the original Kong in every sense of the imagination. I like the Kong in the film. I would have went with the more of the original style though, but nothing wrong with this Kong. He was a silverback. These 2 figures, by the way, are by Mark Sang Yang. I got them a way, way long time ago, probably like 3 or 4 years ago now. They're 30 centimeter in scale. For reference, I'll bring over a X Plus 30 centimeter Godzilla 1975 for a few minutes just for scale reference. But they're nice figures. I'm planning with Mark, hopefully before the end of this year, to have a special project with another Kong 2005 in the works. And he's very excited to do that for me, and I'm looking forward to that. But these are really the only 2 collectibles I have from the film. I don't recall any really good ones that came out. If there was any, somebody let me know, but that's why I had these made. I thought Mark did a pretty good job depicting it. But as far as Kong in the film, I did like him. He's a knuckle walker predominantly, but he does stand up every now and again. But predominantly he is a knuckle walker, where in the original film, he was a knuckle walker, but he also walked on 2 feet a lot, if you think about it in that movie, quite a bit. And I wish they would have went that route with this Kong here, made him a more upright type Kong. But the design I didn't have a problem with. He looks like he's been beaten up through some battles and scarring and stuff on him. This figure has some of that. It's It's all right. I didn't mind the Kong, and the characters in the movie. Naomi Watts, I thought she did really well. They depicted the attachment between her and Kong really well, and especially as the movie progressed. It grew, I thought, and grew. In the original movie, Aunt Darrow, Faye Dunaway, all she did was scream the whole time. So, which you can imagine, you're in the hands of a 25, 30 foot tall giant monster gorilla, you're going to be scared to death. But in this movie, they tried to put the emotion in it with the connection between Anne and Kong. They did some nice things with them as far as, on the island, her making embarrassing Kong when she smacked his hand and told him no more. He kept knocking her down, up and picking her up, and knocking her down, and he went away. Pretty kind of embarrassed, I thought, in that scene, and then later comes quickly that he saves her from the crocodile type kaiju in the film. There's a lot of back and forth between Anne and Kong I really like in the film myself. Personally, I thought it was good. Thought there's, like I said, the special effects were outstanding in the film. I really, really did enjoy a lot of the aspects. I will say I thought the film was long-winded. I mean, 3 hours and whatever, 7 minutes, I don't know, something like that. It was pretty long. I thought it took too long to get to the island, but what they were doing, in my opinion, was setting up storylines for all the characters. They really went into Anne's background about being a struggling actress and trying to find her way and just survive in a Depression era, New York City. And I think they captured that really well, showing all that. And I think that's why there was so much time spent prior to getting to Skull Island. And it is long-winded in that respect. I do agree. I think I've heard people say before it's just too long. And I think if they would have just got to the island quicker, it would have been a lot better. But I appreciated the storyline they were developing in pre-island in the movie, how they were building it up and building the characters. They did a good job, I thought, building Anne's character, showing you some of the sleaziness a little bit of Carl Denham, and then of course Jack Driscoll, which in the original Kong his name was John Driscoll. Adrian Brody, that's who played Jack Driscoll. His character, of course, falls in love with Anne, and the bravery he shows in the movie to continue on and solder on after they were going through the island, when they went on they captured the boat scene where they crossed the lake or whatever, and like in the original movie it was a brontosaurus that attacked them, but in this movie it was a gigantic piranha / eel dinosaur that attacked them and pretty much put a hurting on the crew there in that scene. That was pretty awesome. But to go through that and to go through Kong on the log, of course they captured that scene excellently in this movie, the log scene where he knocks all the guys off, and to go through the snake pit scene down below, where they do that scene in this movie. And all of that they go through, and Jack still climbs up and is going after to try to get her. I mean, that shows a lot of bravery, in my opinion. And nice connection developed between him and Anne in the movie, but I don't think it was nothing like what Anne and Kong had as a connection as the movie went on. Of course, she was scared to death at first, but she was a tough girl. She was built tough by the Depression in New York City and a struggling actress and trying to find her way. And her and Kong developed a special relationship, I thought, in the movie. And that created the emotion for, like, once they took him to New York and he was really depressed and they showed him tied up and she looked depressed as well. And it just felt like that was showing the connection between them to me. And then he finally breaks free because they piss him off, and then of course he ravages through New York and tearing stuff up, and he's looking for her. He's picking up women and they're blonde headed and he thinks they're him, and he picks them up and he would just throw them when he realized it wasn't her. It was kind of wild, but it's a great movie. And then the depiction, he finally makes it up the Empire State Building, but the emotional, like I said, the emotional bridge they were building between him and Anne was very strong. And then when he finally got her in the city, and he went to the park. Must have been around Christmas time because there was lights on the trees, and the pond was frozen, and he was sliding around on it and shaking snow off of himself on her, and they were having fun together and enjoying it. And then the army attacks. They built that emotional bridge between them from the time they met until the very end, when he was, of course, climbed the Empire State Building, and he saved her on the top of the building. She was climbing up the ladder on the side of the building to try to get to Kong, and the ladder came apart from the building, and he reached and grabbed her. She was falling. He saved her many times in the film, and they just built that. I thought they built the emotional connection between the two, for sure. It was really nice. And then, of course, at the end, Kong's up there, and I think he realizes when they're shooting at him, and he touches that wound on his chest. He realizes he's in trouble, and from there it was a battle, and he did manage to take some of them down. But you're not going to beat the odds when they're layering you with bullets like that. And it was pretty emotional at the end when they was coming in for that kill shot, in my opinion. She came up, finally got up there and got in front of him and was trying to wave, and she waved him off, and then he slumped down, and you could tell he was about done, and he put his face down to her, and she was petting him. About that time, they lit his back up, right all over his back, and that was the end of it. And you could see in the movie, I could see, if you watch that movie at the end, you could see the life go out of him in his eyes. They go real dark, in my opinion, if you watch it. And then she's trying to hold him, comfort him, I guess, and he just slips off the building and falls, and then she just breaks down crying. And they really developed the emotion and the connection between Kong and Arrow in the movie. And like I said, I thought Naomi Watts did a fantastic job in that film, for sure. Like I said, I love the movie. I think Peter Jackson, it was his true tribute to King Kong and the original movie. So many callbacks in the film with music and stuff, and little hints and Easter eggs, and it's just a great film. If you've never watched it, give it a chance. It is long. It's just over 3 hours, I believe, but I really enjoy it nonetheless. I'm a big King Kong guy, so it's really, really a nice film. And like I said, these are my collectibles from that film. Like I said, I've already talked with Mark Sing Yang about another Kong 2005. We're going to hit that project this year, hopefully, for the year end. It'll be nice to have that. But if you haven't seen that movie, give it a chance. I will agree that they could probably shorten it up by 30 minutes, cut out some of the pre-island stuff. But all the island stuff is great. And then even the city stuff at the end, when they take him to the city, I think they could have shortened it up a little bit in the front side. But other than that, I love the movie. Big King Kong supporter. All right, everybody. I want to thank everybody who always tunes into my channel here. This is Phil from my collection room here in Greater Cincinnati. Y'all have a blessed day. We'll talk again soon.